Hello everybody, it's Nick McDonald here. Thank you for joining us this week for the dollar index and currency market commentary. Just look at where we came last week. So firstly, let's just look at this daily chart and count the last 5 bars. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, taking us back to the whole action for last week. We're up one day, down another day, but ultimately very, very close. These few days we went down and then came back up and closed high. We went up, then came back down and closed low. We went higher and lower on the third day. Then we had a day up and then we had a day down. So ultimately, very quiet week, very little direction. Now, what was I looking at last week when I saw these charts? I was looking for a break up to the high of this daily candle, which was Friday from the week before, and I thought that would result in a bullish move, maybe coming up towards 80 and testing that region. We've had an ever so slightly bullish move, but we've pushed slightly higher, but we've failed to get any momentum really at all, and ultimately had a quiet sideways week. That's represented here, and just ignore this current candle, which is actually just the early part of this week. But so looking at last week's candle here, just resulted in a very sideways candle. You can see we opened and closed pretty much at the same level. We were engulfed by the previous week, so we had what's called an inside candle or an inside week, meaning we didn't break through the week before's highs, and ultimately we had very, very little direction. Let's come and have a look at this on a monthly chart. And again here, I was looking for a breakup through November's highs or November's lows, and I think that would provide some real direction for the market, and we're just not getting it yet. It could be quite some time. So far, December's looking very quiet. Very, very small candle considering we're a decent way into the month now, and need to see a breakup through the high of November or the low of November to really confirm some direction. So I'm swaying to the downside longer term, but I need to see something happen. I need to see some action. So on a monthly basis, it needs to break. And let's get quite specific here on the highs and lows. It either needs to break down through around 77 or it needs to break up through around about 80.35. If it can break in one of those directions, I think that'll give us some more obvious direction than what we have right now. Let's come and look at it on a weekly chart and think what's likely to happen based on this time frame. Well, considering we've come up into 80 and we've done it a number of times, come up and failed, we've found some good support while we have been above it, and on one occasion found some really good support and had a big rally. But right now, as we are here, we've come up, we've tested it, we've tried for a couple of weeks to get above it, failed, and actually we've got two quite bearish candles. So I'm ultimately looking at this now and thinking, right, any breakdown through the lows of these weeks, and in fact I said it last week as well, so I said it last week that a breakdown through those lows would be bearish. We didn't get that, we had the inside candle, but now we'd be looking for a breakdown through those lows this week. I do think it'll just slant things slightly bearish. I don't think it's massively bearish, but slightly bearish, and considering we've rejected 80 with the bearish candles, any move down, we could be looking for a move down towards 77, which would be getting down to test those extremities of the monthly candle, which we just discussed, which would be testing the extremities of therefore potentially moving into bearishness if we can break down through 77. Let's come and look at it on a daily chart. The direction is still very indecisive, but actually upwards in the within this upward trend. So we've made a higher low through here, and let's just mark it in. We had the higher low, which is still held from last week. We're just nudging up ever so slightly, and we can see even just these candles making higher lows as we move up. I would not be surprised at all in the shorter term if we tested 80 before deciding there at that point whether we're going to fail at that point once again. So I think if we do get up to 80, 80 is going to act as some pretty decent resistance, as it has here, even in recent times. And I think that at that point I'd be looking for any reason to get short, looking for turnarounds in the candles, etc., on lower time frames to look for reasons to get short. So at the moment 80 is my kind of preferred level on the upside for trading opportunities. To the downside though, of course, if I'm looking for a move down towards 77 in the coming weeks and months, then on the way down I think 78 could provide good shorting opportunities if we break below it, pull back into it. So if we break 78 is actually quite a key level. 78 to the downside, 80 to the upside. Any break above 80 will be very bullish. Any break down below these lows firstly, but then break down below 78, that will be very bearish indeed. And I'd look for example, a break below it, then a pullback to it, and then a move down. In the meantime, it's hard to predict that many weeks and months out because many things can change between now and then. In the meantime, I will just continue to trade in the direction of the trend, which means for now I'll be looking for that move up towards 80. Around 80 I'll be looking for both long trades and short trades. I'll trade the direction the market gives me. 80 just gives me the level. I'd prefer short trades as of this moment in time. That could have changed by the time the market gets to 80. So I'll be watching 80 very, very closely. And I'll also be watching 78 to the downside. My bigger picture view is I think we'll get down towards 77. I think we'll test therefore the lows of this monthly candle, and if we break those, then I think we'd be coming down towards 74. At the moment, though, just need to watch this. Firstly, we need to see the break of the weekly lows around about 78.40. We can break down through there, then I think 77 is on the cards. That's what I'll be looking for, potentially even in the lead up to Christmas. But I also would not be surprised now to see quite a quiet couple of weeks as we let Europe resolve itself, and as we then hopefully move into the new year with some more direction and some more focus. We will be back next week with one more update before the end of the year. Who knows, we might have seen some action between now and then. Let's wait and see what we get, and I'll update you one more time for 2011 next week, and then hopefully we start 2012 with a little bit more direction, a little bit more focus, and hopefully some news out from Europe between now and then, which actually starts to clarify some of that news for us and starts to give us a little bit of direction overall for the markets. Happy trading all, have a wonderful week, speak to you next week.